I was turning 40, and I just realized I was like, I don't want to get to 50 and look back and regret not taking
a risk. Yeah.
I just saw it as an opportunity to build something that was different and that added or that brought a unique value to the commercial real estate market.
Welcome to the In the Arena podcast. My name is Jared Miguez, a co-host on this podcast that brings you the inspiring stories of our clients who are leaders and innovators across different industries in Southeast Louisiana. They are visionary entrepreneurs, savvy real estate professionals, media creators, military business owners, and community champions. And we are going to showcase the remarkable achievements and share their personal stories. Tune in for insightful conversations, valuable lessons, and motivational stories that are going to reveal their secrets to success and offer you insights to help you on your own path. Welcome to In the Arena podcast. Well, welcome to the In the Arena podcast. I got some good buddies here and my partner Lauren, and we're going to talk about commercial real estate and how you grow your business with assets that'll unique to you. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, this building's unique to us, and that's what we love about it. And so as a client or a business owner looking to grow, I'm interested to hear y'all's perspective on that. So why don't you tell us who you are and what business you're with so we get started?
Yeah, so I'm Evan Scroggs, president, managing principal of Lean Associates, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans.
Nice.
Yep, Lance Ginn, principal in New Orleans office.
Jared's former frat buddy.
Fred, brother. We will not.
So we'll talk about that later.
Refrain from those conversations. Me and John, when we first got in the business, like, people were like, "Hey man, you never come hang out. You never want to go have a drink with us." And John's like, "This guy? Like, you know, like this guy's like." I was like, "John, it's a long time ago. We don't talk about that. They don't know me like that around here." And every once in a while, it comes out, and people get a little bit of it, a little taste of it, and I have to put it back in its cage. Because the scary thing is, we all still have it in us if we want to.
No doubt.
I just keep it pinned down as much as I can. So, all right, Lean Associates, right? I mean, I know, Lance, you've been in the business for a long time. We've known each other for a really long time, and you moved over recently to Lean Associates. So tell us about the brand. I know you're trying to bring awareness to what y'all are doing, so tell us about it.
Yeah, so came over in March, joined Evan, started the company in 2023 in Baton Rouge. We have an office in Lafayette, New Orleans. For me, the company kind of sells itself. It's one of the only broker-owned brokerages in the entire world. So that's a neat, unique attribute of it. So it's every new office is funded internally by other offices.
Cool.
So raised through private equity in the company. You as a principal, when you come on, or partner, can invest in the company and invest in new offices. So that was really attractive to me, and
commitment.
Yeah, unique to the business. So that's what excited me about it, what brought me to it, and just the ability to be with other young, like-minded guys that have been in the business for a while. We've all known each other. All of our partners have been, friends in the business for several years. So it was exciting to build something, and that excited me.
Yeah, for sure. And working for somebody else for a long time, you see things done a certain way, and being able to come in and influence the culture of a group, even if it is a smaller group that's growing, it's important. I'm going to be interested to hear from your perspective, Evan, how you keep that culture between 4 different locations, right? Because one of the things that we've seen in the past and different experiences that we've been a part of, as you get farther away from the center, it's harder to keep that quality standard and control as a part of the brand and the culture that you've established and that you wanted the guys to carry forward. So establishing that's important. So, like, what brought you to Lean Associates, and what's got you to stay around to recruit people?
Yeah, so I spent 13 years at another company. Great time there, learned a lot, made a lot of great relationships, and never really was thinking about, starting a commercial brokerage or going out on my own. But I guess I started getting recruited by Lean Associates 2020, 2021-ish. And just some of the frustrations I had in the business and in the industry, Lean Associates offered solutions for really all of those, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lance kind of hit on the venture capital, the partnership model, but, the company I was with, I really didn't have a way to affect change or culture or direction or vision, any of that stuff. And there was a bit of a frustration to realize you're never going to have ownership. You're never going to become a partner.
Yeah.
There's not a path. That's not even on the radar. And you just watch brokers cycle through companies, and there's no real stickiness.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing that keeps them there.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's really just different brokerages offering, oh, we can offer you a better split. We can give you this incentive or that. But I felt like within the brokerage industry, for it to really create a culture and a culture of ownership, you had to offer ownership.
Yeah.
And that's really the Lean Associates model. I mean, there's a path to partnership for every broker that joins the company. You are invested. I mean, we have our own money into the office, but we also have, money from other offices that are invested into our office. So that ties us together with, our Nashville office or our Houston office or our Raleigh office. All of that, begins to build cohesion. So it's not just siloed individual companies.
Sure.
But it was really an opportunity that I saw, and, we were talking about getting into your 40s. I was turning 40, and I just realized, I was like, I don't want to get to 50 and look back and regret not taking
a risk. Yeah.
And so I just saw it as an opportunity to build something that was different and that added or that brought a unique value to the commercial real estate market. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on, Lance has a CCIM designation. I have mine. 3 of our partners, myself included, have our SIOR designation. So we want to be really the brokerage of experts, right?
Nice.
We talk to our associates all the time, work towards your CCIM, become an SIOR associate, work towards getting your SIOR designation. I mean, those are the things that really kind of distinguish yourself within an industry that is just frankly too easy to get licensed and be a part of.
There's a lot. Look, we talk about it all the time, and in residential real estate, I think even worse than it is on the commercial side.
Yeah, low barrier.
It's low barrier, and to set yourself apart in that way, you people have relationships that generate a lot of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they put themselves out that way. They network in the right circles. They get a lot of leads that way. But us in the industry know that they don't have a certain set of skills that other people may have.
Yeah.
How do you promote that within your team? Like obviously, Lance is a part of the CCIM, and he spends time with those people and adds value to that organization. But to your clients, how do you tell somebody how valuable having those designations are?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's just using the knowledge to advise them on a daily basis.
Proving it. Yeah.
I mean, it's having the letters behind your name is great, but if you can't apply that knowledge or the network or the relationships that you've built because of your involvement in those organizations, then it really doesn't have value. So, I'll be at SIOR in Louisville, Kentucky, I guess first week of November, and I'll be at IMC third week of October. So, we're out there, gaining insight, gaining knowledge, applying what we've learned through, the core courses in CCIM as far as, I know you talked about advising your clients or being able to talk to your clients about, what does it mean to own? What's the value of ownership? How do you analyze? Should you own?
Yeah.
Is owning the right thing to do, or should you lease? We can perform that analysis.
Yeah.
When we're underwriting investment deals, is it, are you driven on cap rate, achieving the best cap rate possible? Or are you more driven by cash flow and cash on cash return? I mean, I had that conversation this morning with a client with regards to our leasing strategy, what we're going to focus on, and how whichever one we choose is going to determine, the tenants we pursue.
Yeah.
So, so I mean, I think all of that, ultimately though, it's how are you putting it into practice?
Sure.
Because, talking about the low barrier of entry, it's not just like, hey, can we put together a market survey and show you buildings and put together an offer? Like, that's really easy.
Sure.
It's the
So
more
get
nuanced,
judged, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to have that experience, the practical touch points.
Yeah.
It's also the network too. It's not as big of a piece, but we've made friends and connections all over the country, all over the state. I mean, we've got, I'm from North Louisiana originally, but now I'm very close with the guys in Shreveport, just through CCIM.
Yeah.
He's served as past president of the board. Clinton.
So you're a glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
Is it now?
Yeah. In our Lafayette office is current president. I'll be president next year. So we've all kind of put the time in, but it's been great. And we've made a lot of connections across the country. I'll be in Vancouver for the conference in the fall. So we go to that twice a year when you're on the board. So
is it more education based, networking and learning? Like how does that?
We're kind of learning to try to help the chapter out here locally, kind of what other chapters are doing which has been tough post COVID for any organization like that when you don't have full buy-in.
Sure.
But education. I mean, there's some education that happens, but it's mostly networking. I think that's the biggest value in it is getting to know people from all over.
So let's pivot, because I can sit and talk all day about the point you made whenever you're advising your clients, right? So if you're a business owner, right, we were lucky enough on 3 months into our business, so bought 2 buildings to establish our presence and kind of plant our roots where we're at. But I don't think not every business owner has the opportunity to do that, right? It's a big investment for somebody who has been growing their business, dealing with cash flow with employees and the ebbs and flows of the market, and then they're going to make this big cash investment. Most of the time, you got to put 20% down on $1 million building. That's $200,000 in cash you're putting down on a project right there that you don't have liquid now to pay for emergencies.
Right.
So how do you have that conversation with somebody who says, "Okay, I'm growing my business and I want to invest in my business again in owner occupied space"? What are some of the things you needed to analyze?
Yeah, I mean, one, certainly you're considering budget, but I think more than that, it's what are long-term goals, I think the challenge with buying is you kind of lock yourself in, right? So like, it's hard to know where's the company 3 years from now, 5 years from now. With that said, I think especially with, legislation that was just passed that, makes permanent bonus depreciation, that's a huge incentive on the ownership side.
Tell me about that. That's something that I haven't heard about yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's, you've had the ability to cost seg. So you take a building like yours and, it would depreciate normally over a 39-year life cycle. You get a cost seg analysis. They come in and they look and they say, well, the carpet's going to have a 5-year useful life and the lights have a 7-year useful life. And, the HVAC has a 10-year useful life. And so all of that, you can kind of front load that. You're segmenting out the building and into its components. And, now you can take depreciation a lot faster.
You're taking individual depreciation on each part of the building and not just the building as a whole.
That's right. That's the cost seg component. But the bonus depreciation allows you to take more in like a year one. So it's 100% of I'm not sure the number, but it's substantial.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like car washes in particular, you can bonus depreciate 100% of the value of the property minus the land in year one. So I've actually got a client right now that's I'm running some traps on some cars.
And is that guy, is he in that business or is he buying that as an
investor? He's an investor. Yeah. So he owns a lot of different assets.
Gotcha. I see.
Yeah. So for the company or for the owner that has, I mean, they're looking and saying, we're having a great year. We're going to have a really big income tax hit. Purchasing may make a lot of sense, because now you can cost seg, that counts against income. And so, I mean, it can make a real difference. And this is the time of the year where we really begin to see, I guess, our higher net worth clients
thinking about
really active to say, we got to get something closed before year end.
Sure.
Becky and I just had one of our GC clients. We had a nice CPA call with a business owner, and they were like, every opportunity, present it. And we have 3 things under contract right now within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For the first time in several years, you're starting to see good deals again that are actually making it to market too, which has been rare. I mean, if you wanted a good deal, you had to get out, find it off market. You're starting to see more stuff, which is good. I think it's starting to show a shift a little bit, but
yeah.
Which, I mean, we feel that too on the residential side as well, just because the deals are not quite as hard, even though like every deal, like you said, has so much hair on it that you got to work through. The volume of deals are there. It's just all the deals that nobody wanted to deal with when the rates were low and it was easy to turn deals over. People are starting to deal with now, and you just have a lot more things you're having to deal with on all these files and handhold people to the finish line a lot more. But people are still making money, so they still have taxes they're trying to offset. We had a client that's looking into an opportunity zone fund and opportunity zones and looking at properties in that way and being creative with it. and all that's super interesting. You know, but that guy's more on the investment side. And you know, we have a lot of our clients that are looking to grow their space, to grow their business. So they're buying and investing in their own buildings they're operating in. And so one of the things that we talk a lot about is how like the company identifies in the culture with the place that we're operating in, right? If you go buy an office that's already existing, you kind of fit into what you're, you know, what you get. When we were able to build this ourselves and make this our own feel and who we are. And so how much of that conversation is that plays into the client advice y'all are giving?
We're going through it right now. We're talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, so we just leased new space in New Orleans. We just leased new space in Lafayette. We're evaluating our space in Baton Rouge. And since that's where we have the most people and our operations are really headed up out of Baton Rouge, we're going through the space design process, you know, evaluating the program that we need, how many offices versus, you know, shared space, you know, conference room space, all that stuff. I think you're right. I mean, it's amazing the way that you've seen, particularly, well, in all product types, but, you know, industrial it has changed in its own way. We can talk about that, but office in particular, and really Bill Sanders, our partner, would be the guy to really have this conversation with. But, you know, it used to be big offices, perimeter of the building. That was all the leadership, executives. And then it was just kind of these dark, closed-in bullpens in the center core of the building. And that's really been flipped, right? I mean, it's now interior offices with glass, exterior is more collaborative space, light carries throughout the space. And it changes the mood, the mindset, the vibe of the space that impacts, you know, employee performance.
Employee performance and client experience.
Absolutely. I mean, and look, when we walked into your space, that was one of the first things I noticed downstairs. I mean, that's a cool setup.
Yeah.
Like, the glass garage door. I mean, it's inviting. You got a place to hang out. Like I love it. So I think it makes a huge,
very atypical for a law firm, right?
Yeah.
But that is
So we're going for it.
that is the kind of stuff that breeds culture, the feel you want, and that's something we're real big on too with building it. We've got good young people. We want them to be excited to be there and be happy and, you know, encouraged. I think goes such a long way with young agents that you don't always get everywhere. Hey, you're doing a good job. I just want you to know we're noticing you right now, and we see how hard you're working and congratulating them. And that doesn't happen a lot of times when you're young. So
yeah, and with the design, I think proximity to your senior level brokers, you know, I mean, the individual offices are nice, but I think that's the way that you become siloed. Yep. And so I think that the closer proximity your associates can be to your partner level guys, you know, I mean, there's a lot of learning in this business.
More collaboration.
It takes place by osmosis. Yeah. Like you're hearing them on phone calls and you're seeing the way they interact. And all of that plays into the design side of creating a space that promotes the environment, the culture that you're trying to build.
We just validated our decision to put another desk in every room because we've already got like 7 desks in every room.
I think people will cry if we put another desk in there. The challenge becomes phone calls, but again, why you need conference room space, because we represent a lot of businesses as well, so they ask our advice on all kind of things like that, and that's one thing I always caution them on. Like, shared space is a beautiful, beautiful environment. Like you said, just you interacting, talking out loud, thinking out loud. Sometimes, you know, they're learning through each activity. At the same time, when everybody needs to hop on a phone call, you got to have space for them to go to. So, you know, people think all the time, like, I just need one conference room. Like, how many people do you have at work for you? Right. You only want one meeting at a time? Oh, but when you say it like that, exactly.
Yeah. The, so I mean, I'm sure y'all have seen like the phone booths. Yeah. Which, you know, our Nashville.
We tried to put one out here at one point.
Our Nashville office has that, and that's a cool setup.
Super cool.
Our Houston office is doing a deal now where they're literally designating one room is like the call room. It has a docking station and 2 monitors. So like you can plug in, you know, as a broker who's in the bullpen and be set up ready to roll. So I think there's ways you can solve that. It is funny how you start making decisions on office space of, you know, the calls and people are on calls a lot, but there's so much other stuff that takes place during the day that doesn't require you to be in an office in quiet, you know, environment. So, I mean, I think, you know, they've got some creative solutions to that. The white noise is another one they do. Our Charlotte office just moved to an entirely open concept. And it's just white noise. And it's amazing how that helps on the calls.
Yeah.
We love it.
We everything's collaborative here, and not always on purpose, but it's
That's
fun.
a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, but I've like you said, osmosis is not how I would have said it, but it is a great way of putting it, because I'll be in the room with one of our associate attorneys, and just him hearing what I'm saying, and then him talking, and then me being able to give him feedback is super helpful. And like I'm the as one of the owners of the firm, I want to be next to my employees. I don't want to have my own big office where I'm by myself. People feel intimidated to come in. Our staff, almost to a fault sometimes, feels comfortable to the point to walk in here, and I think that makes a huge difference, especially in the commercial real estate world. I would imagine that it's not the culture of most places that you can just walk in and talk to the person who's in charge that really has all the knowledge that these young guys want to have, and pass it on. So I want to talk about the culture of y'all's organization, because I've seen other companies as they expand beyond the main Baton Rouge where most people are at. How do you maintain the culture in the New Orleans office where Lance is at, in the Lafayette office, as the president or principal of the region? When
you can't be there every day.
When you can't be there all the time.
Yeah. So one, we're doing EOS. And
I heard him plug that visionary status.
Right.
You got
So when you say that, okay, let's
He gets the fun job.
let's give the audience an idea what EOS is. So EOS is just an operating system.
Yeah,
It's a business in a box.
stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System.
exactly right. Yeah. Is it Gino?
Gino Whitman,
Traction?
Yep.
the book Traction.
Yeah. So I guess I read that our downtown LA office runs on it. Jack Klein there. We were talking about I think I was 9 months in. It was at our president's meeting in Chicago in fall of 23. And we were talking about just the challenges of getting an office up and running, and particularly on the operations side. And he was like, I got something you need to read. He sent me the book, and I read it. I was like, this is everything that we are struggling with right now. Like
Every business.
And so it provides a structure that you don't have to create yourself. You know, the L10 meeting format has been great. So we do our quarterlies. Lance and Will and those guys, they've been there with us for that. And I think that's been a really formative time for us, just to get time with one another and to talk through problems, to talk through issues. We meet frequently. I know you can meet to the point where it becomes counterproductive, but we take advantage of Teams a lot. So we do a lot of stuff via Teams where we're together, but we do have every month we have an in-person sales meeting. We do culture events, like we're going to do pickleball here in a few weeks.
Here, where?
Baton Rouge at Court to Table. Yeah.
Yeah, the new development, the old, what was it? It was the Shed barbecue, but before that it was the outdoor.
It was like a
volleyball
place.
You don't want to lose?
Probably will. I'm one of
He means he invited me.
Yeah.
I've played pickleball once. I'm like the only person in the world that's not obsessed with it.
I was going to say I'll bring my wife if y'all want to leave, because she's been playing a lot. She's a stud at pickleball.
She's good, yeah.
Yeah, so we've studied EOS. We have a similar operating system mindset that we try to that we implement here, right? And I think it's funny because part of this conversation when we have with business owners, whether it's commercial real estate agents or just business owners in general, we ask them, like, what's your operating system? And they're like, I don't have one. And then you talk to them for 30 minutes and you realize they have things that they're systematic with. They just don't call it an operating system. And the beauty of EOS is that it puts it in a box and gives a common language to people to study.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been operating on it?
Yeah.
So we did our kickoff day in, was it April?
March, maybe like right when I
Guys, y'all have done two quarterly meetings.
We just did our second vision building day last week.
Yeah, so we're pretty fresh into it. Yeah, 6
really
months probably into it.
And just I'll say this is maybe controversial. One of the things that you'll find whenever you're intentionally operating a system and you try to put people in accountability situations and they're not used to it, you may push people out of the system because they don't fit within the organization you're trying to build, which is a hard thing for people to hear. Yeah. And that's part of maintaining the culture, right? It's you have a standard in which you're trying to operate, and you have the values in which you operate under. That's got to be your foundation. And then how you then hold your system accountable to upholding the standard and the values is what you're doing with the operating system going forward. And there's a lot of tools you can use to do that.
Yeah.
And, simply stated, you doing a weekly meeting is 100% necessary in order for you to be able to do that, right? Like you have to have some sort of way of tracking your system to make sure that you're doing the things you need to be doing.
Yeah.
And we have a similar weekly meeting that we're doing every week, and we're coming with issues and establishing a culture that is open to discussing issues.
Yeah.
Is something that's huge. Because you first get started, and the owners sometimes are not humble enough to want to admit that they're not perfect or they don't want to change. And a lot of employees that we have are in support roles just have that innate personality and behavioral style that don't want to change.
Yeah.
So as you're growing and you're adding more people, the habits you have now are not going to get you where you're going. You have to develop.
That's right. Yeah.
And so as you're developing those things, you have to have a system of looking at everything every single week and saying, how do we get past this issue? How do we because the only thing between you and where you're going are the issues that need to be solved to get there.
That's right.
So if you're not systematic at doing that, you're not going to get where you're going ultimately. It's going to be really freaking hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as an organization, let's just step back and say, like, what are the values for y'all's group, right? Have y'all established that and you have a second vision day, so y'all should have kind of planted that seed and talked about it.
Yeah.
How did y'all establish the values within y'all's group?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is hot off the press. I mean, we literally settled this last week. So it's 4, right? It's an ownership mindset. It is unwavering integrity. It is service oriented, and it is a growth mindset.
Nice.
Yeah.
So a lot of those common buzzwords are we have too, right? Integrity is a big one of ours. The teamwork aspect of what you're doing, the ownership mindset, right? Having that standard. So, have y'all thought about what integrity really means to you guys?
I think it's a brutal honesty, both with the way that you deal with yourself and your issues, but the way you interact with clients, right? It's treating people the way you want to be treated. It's making sure that I mean, ultimately what we're doing, I mean, we are in a service industry and we're serving clients. And so it's doing everything out of a heart of service that is for the best of the client.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, and look, we just do. We've got competitors in the market who they'll push the line, and making sure that we do everything that's above board, that we're above reproach. So
there's no one deal that's worth your career and the business that you have, and it's sometimes hard because you want to get it right, you want to get it done for your client, but again, there's no one deal that's worth it.
So again, everybody says the relationship driven, not fee driven. It's not new. Everybody talks about that. But how does that play out when the rubber meets the road, right? Like there's a deal that, I mean, it can get done, and maybe it means you got to shave a point off of a fee, and it hurts a little, but it gets you onto the next transaction and it builds rapport with that client.
Yeah.
I think that's a level of integrity. Say, look,
it's cheaper than marketing these days. So well, discount fee and hurt.
I mean, we don't want to make a habit of always having to discount fees, but we certainly don't want to come across as we are just fee greedy and hell or high water, we're getting our money and we don't care.
I think there's a difference between being a discount brokerage, because that's something we're never going to do. Right. But at the same time, we're always wanting to meet our clients' needs. And when they sometimes can't meet us at our fee level, we find ourselves in that position. But again, we never put ourselves out there, as being the discount leader in any way, but we are pro business. And so if discounting makes business go around, we're going to do it.
And look, I'm telling you, I work on a lot of development projects. And I mean, you've got every party in the deal is giving and making sacrifices. And so if you're the only one saying, I'm not willing to give it all, I mean, you kind of look like the asshole. Right?
Yeah.
So
moral of the podcast, don't be the asshole.
Yeah. Look, so that's like this may get cut if it does. It's done. That's like, we didn't put that as our, as a core value, but just don't be an asshole.
It's in the definition.
Yeah. But as an owner's mindset too, you have that mentality of this is more than just this one transaction. You're trying to help the company and the office grow. You're investing in this organization. You know that, that one deal that, 10, 15, 20 grand would be helpful for my bottom line, me personally. But the Good to Great book, which is where Jim Collins talks about, is the selfless ambition for the organization and not for yourself. Like when you can get that kind of culture, and you have to have an ownership mentality whenever that's where you're going, because it's more than you. It's a legacy and a company that you're in a culture that you're trying to make that's going to make a greater impact than just you personally.
That's exactly, yes. And exactly right. I mean, the ownership mentality, when we're talking about that, it's like, I mean, it is, you are accountable for you. Like, and so the buck stops with you. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. Own it. Like, but, you know, take responsibility, be accountable. This isn't just a day job. This isn't like you're building something. You're building something, even though you're an associate, in 5 years, 7 years, you may be an owner in it. And so don't do things today that when you have the opportunity to become an owner, like you kind of regret what you've created from bad habits back then. Right. Talking about the Good to Great, we've read that book as part of our onboarding with EOS. But I mean, I think a lot of brokers get this mindset of like every deal is the last deal they'll ever do, and like
scarcity mentality.
It's a scarcity mindset.
You can't be part of that culture,
and it's just not. I've been in the business long enough. Like there are always more deals. There's always more opportunities, and the relationships you build by being willing to show some sacrifice and some give, long-term pay dividends, you know, that go beyond whatever you had to give up.
Yeah. So, it's a simple business at the end of the day. It's not easy to make money, but it's a very simple business. Be responsive, be trustworthy, like call people back. You know, it's like, it's very, if you do those things, if you're just honest and respond to people in a timely manner, you're 90% ahead of
how sad is that?
Yeah. It is sad, but it's crazy how many people don't respond to emails, don't respond to phone calls. And
we're lawyers, bruh. You don't have to.
Yeah,
totally good.
We got every joke. We got it. We know. Like if you can get us on the phone within 24 hours, score.
Yeah, but that standard is what we've established in our organization, and we, you know, even articulating that to your clients or to your employees and associates as you're growing. Like we have a lot of associate attorneys, and as you're growing, people get busier. Like you think about it in common, like simply like you're not answering the phone, you're playing pickleball, you're you know, you cut out early, right? Like, but the reality is there you could be doing other productive things, but if the standard is communication, which ours we have 3 C's: communication, closing on time, and the closing experience. And we talk about those standards all the time. Respond within 24 hours. You might have other things that come up, but you need to let the client know that you're available, paying attention, that you're going to get back to them within a reasonable time, and confirming receipt is part of that process. And
growth is structuring priorities. Yeah. Like, be busy, good. Stop complaining about it. Learn how to structure your priorities.
Right. Yeah.
That's growth.
There's a lot of people a lot of people, I feel like when you say that out loud, like communicate and be available, I think a lot of times it's people are just distracted by things that are not work and they're not responsible. But sometimes it's, you feel like you're overwhelmed with the things you have going on. And that's kind of, you know, part of the EOS and just the operating system mentality. When you have a system of tracking the numbers, if you are paying attention as an employee or as an associate, and you look at the metrics that your bosses or your superiors have picked, those are your priorities, right? Like, yeah, you can tell me, well, this, and this happened. But this number is what I've told you. I've clearly stated, like when we meet every week, this is what I want you to know. That's the important number you should be tracking. And if that number's red, you can do everything else great. But the one that we've told you is most important is not being done.
We use, y'all's language, but, we tell them all the time, your people analyzer is going to show you, your scorecard metrics that are assigned to you is going to show you, and your rocks are going to show you. There's your priorities. Yeah. And then you go to your file management system, and your priorities are the tasks that are due that day. You should look at both of those things before you ever open your freaking email. Yeah. The problem is everybody wakes up, and immediately it's email, social media. They run directly into the chaos, and it's like, put your helmet on, go back to, your operating system, and it's all clear for you. Yeah.
I think that implementing any operating system is going to help y'all become more focused and more intentional about where y'all are going, and y'all are going to see huge strides. Just like I said, as y'all grow, just make sure you're checking on each other to say, like, are we on the same page? Are y'all on board with how we're doing this? Is this where the vision that we're trying to pursue? Because again, it puts a lot
of the meeting too. Yeah, you don't have to wait at a implementer to do that for you, because I've watched too many people fail by not having those hard conversations.
And we haven't even done the rollout to the rest of the.
It's good though. It's good for you guys to get on the same page with that and get through some weeks and just run through the motions. Because what we found was we were on the same page, and we were on board, and we're having a great leadership team meeting and stuff for Lance to go and manage the New Orleans office and have that same mentality. He's going to have a different personality than whoever visionary implementer are. They're going to have a different way of dealing with the staff, and the staff's going to have a different way of dealing back, and you've got to be able to you got to be consistent with checking in on people, because it's hard. Like it's definitely it's not an easy thing to do. You got to choose your hard, right? You don't have an operating system, it's going to be hard because you're not going to have any structure. But if you implement an operating system, constantly refocusing on that, it's hard to get people back driven in there. But it's the only way to grow and scale a company. It really is.
Yeah.
So, one good thing we've done that pre-EOS that I've enjoyed with the company is we do one-on-ones. Any partner principal level is meeting with the younger associates once a week, twice a week. You kind of have that rapport with your person of how you want to set it up, and when you know how long you want to meet, when you want to meet. But that's just something that weekly, bi-weekly, you're checking in. What's going on? What's bothering you? Sometimes you just need to bitch to somebody, especially when you're young in the business.
For sure.
I like to do it now, and I've been doing this for a while, but it's still fun to do.
I vent to Lauren every once in a while whenever I'm getting upset about something.
Every day.
Yeah.
And I do it right back. So
that's a good thing that I've enjoyed. You get to know some of the younger associates better, and we're typically doing it, cross office too. So just had a big closing last week. So it's fun to kind of the same thing though, just building culture. We're getting to know each other better. We're helping each other. I mean, sometimes she asks me stuff I don't know. I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Well, that's what everybody always says, business is relationship based, and they're always referring to the clients. Right. And it is true, but they forget how much that applies inside in the culture, right? Because we can all be really good at what we do, but not understand how to be leaders. And the first thing you can do as a leader is just show that you freaking care. Yeah. And when you start to know somebody on a personal level, just whether it's just complaining about work and you're not even intentionally talking about their personal life, it's going to happen. Yeah. You're going to develop a relationship and a care and a rapport with them that's going to help in leadership in the long run.
Yeah. No, I think that's exactly right. I mean, building good relationships within the company is as important as building it with clients outside. Yeah. And I'll tell you, it's amazing how many brokers, especially through the recruiting process, as we talk to guys that are in companies in situations where it's just the organizational health is just not good, and it's an environment that they want to get out of.
Right.
It's incredible how many business owners, like I said, just have no idea what an operating system is, and they don't even know they operate within one. Yeah. And we have great business
systems and leadership. Yeah. Those are the two biggest pitfalls.
And we have great businesses in Southeast Louisiana. Like there are some very successful businesses that do a lot of great things. Mm-hmm. They just, when we talk to them, we at the service that we offer, one of the things we do is we help businesses create operating systems within their organization. Mm-hmm. And so and it's hard to even get people to understand what it is until you read a book like Traction or you hear other people who have done something like that to get there and how important it is. Mm-hmm. But it's so much fun whenever you talk to somebody who gets it and they're getting it and they're starting the process. It's just where the growth happens. It's where you start making strides as a leader. Have you guys thought about your ideal client profile yet? Have y'all get into that?
We have, yeah.
That was last Tuesday?
Last Tuesday, yeah. We were, I mean, really, and I kind of, for this, I guess made it a little bit different, but it still fits. It's really owners or occupants of commercial real estate. I mean, that kind of, it could be owners, whether they're owning the building and operating out of it. It could be owners that own it as an investment. It could be occupants that are tenants. So it really, I mean, it is anyone that owns or occupies commercial real estate. Now, look, I mean, Lance and I both do a lot of industrial, so we're working with industrial landlords, industrial developers, industrial tenants. Bill Sanders in our Baton Rouge office does a lot on the office side. Claycy and Camille, they're doing a lot with retail. So, I mean, we kind of have our specialties within that, or our focuses within that. But
which is interesting as a real estate brokerage, you can have your culture and y'all are dealing with those three areas, right? Either owners that are occupying it, owners who own buildings, or occupants who are in the building, but then allowing for each person to have their own subset within that. The thing I'll tell you though, if like Lance's ideal client is in the industrial space in general, and one of those three, right, they're either going to occupy it and own it, they're going to occupy it as a tenant, or they're going to own it and lease it. If you when you're building your marketing plan, you speaking to that person, because the thing that really clicked in my brain as I was kind of going through, I run the marketing department here, is that our ideal client's a business owner looking to grow, right? I can build that profile and I can identify somebody walking down the street who's in that position.
Yeah.
But whenever you really get intimate with that ideal client, you can understand what is that person's goal. When you can identify what their goal is, and then you work backward and say, what are the 3 to 5 things that are between them and their goal? Now, how do I solve those 3 to 5 problems? Now you as a business owner, as a marketer, are just going to push on one of those 3 things, everything that you're doing, whether that's a newspaper article, a magazine ad, social media content, whatever it is, you're pushing on those 3 out, or every conversation you're having, right? You're asking questions about the issues between them and where they're trying to go, and you're just trying to figure out opportunities to add value there. And that's how you really attract your ideal client. And it doesn't mean you don't do business with everybody else in the commercial world, but when you're putting yourself out there, that's who you're ideally wanting to come to you and ask you for help. Yeah. And so when you get clarity on that, and when it allows your marketing to be easier, when you go even to the point of, I'll have business owners come in and say, I don't know what to say when I stand up at my B&I meeting. Well, that's probably because you're not super confident in what you're doing, and you don't know who your ideal client is, right? And then you can, and from that standpoint, not to go down a rabbit hole too far with this, but I can send any of my employees, and within their role within our organization, they can speak to their ideal client, right? I guess my marketing person over there, and she manages our podcast, right? Well, she goes and stands up in the room. I don't need her to be a lawyer. I need her to say, hey, our ideal client's a business owner looking to grow. We had this podcast segment with these great guys at Lee & Associates, and if you know anybody who wants to buy commercial real estate, that's a business owner looking to grow, we can share that content with them and they can get some value out of that, right? It just allows it to be so much easier for you to know what to say and how to say it when you're in the room with somebody. Yeah. So that when y'all really get through that and you hammer that down and your team really understands that, it really adds a lot of value.
So I think it'll be more specific to each individual broker. Sure. Yeah. Is there, I mean, because ultimately that's what brokers are, right? They're building their own business within yours, our organization.
If your marketing budget supports that. You know, that's the challenge, honestly, because I'm the one that helps people build operating systems, right? And getting people to hone in on their ideal client is one of the hardest things to do, because they're just like, why would I turn away business? And I'm like, not asking you to. Yeah. What I'm asking you to do is put in the time and effort to decide what is worth your dollar, right? Where are you going to get the biggest return on the investment? So similarly, as y'all are being taught EOS, how they're saying when y'all all collectively move in one direction, you win faster. Yep. Same thing with your ideal client. If you are speaking clearly to that one person, you're going to bring it. Like Field of Dreams, right? You build it, they will come, and you will get that ideal client. So even though you might work with retail and you have 2 ladies on staff that are amazing with retail, but y'all decide that industrial is where we get the best return on our investment, you go and market that. Guess what? Your brand's still going to be out there and retail's still going to come. Yeah. And when they come knocking on your door, you still say yes, and they still get your quality service and your brand still gets that recognition. But you decide exactly what you're going to target. That can change through the life cycle of your business, but at least you're speaking, to that one person together. And name them so they become part of every L10 that you have, so that when Jared comes in with his wonderful marketing ideas, it's like, is that a squirrel or is that speaking to Teddy? Right? And we can bring ourselves back. We're both so attracted to so many opportunities. If we didn't keep a pulse on one another, it would be hard. Right? And so you need to make that ideal client part of that daily conversation. Yeah. Absolutely. With specifics.
Absolutely.
All right. I could talk for days about operating systems, but I mean, I'm glad we got to talk, because I really think, if you're a young agent trying to get into the commercial space, or you're on a team you're not feeling supported, I feel like y'all got something good going on. And again, knowing y'all are intentionally building a system, it's not going to be perfect, but knowing you can walk in there and be a part of a structure and not just kind of be thrown out there to the wolves, I think it's important. And I think y'all are going to benefit from the rates that are going to be coming in the next couple of years and the opportunities that come.
I like how you willed that into the universe. It's good. I like it.
But thanks for coming, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank y'all for having us.
Looking forward to watching y'all grow.
Yeah.